I remember the very first time that I ever told myself that I remember in my life that I wanted to like do something with my life basically and be successful was this one very specific moment. I was 6 years old and my mom was driving around town. We were in Oakland, California. Shout out. And I remember there was this huge banner, I think it was for like Kaiser or something like that, that had a picture of a doctor. And I remember looking up at that humongous banner and thinking like, I want to be able to do something like that. And I was 6 years old and it was a very specific moment. I don't know why so specific, that I remember just like where my whole mindset shifted a little bit. And then as I grew up, I thought, how am I actually gonna like make that happen and like do something, I guess. So, are we good? As I was saying, basically, ever since then, I kind of feel like I've always really cared about like my grades, because like, you know, everyone's like, go to college and you want to go to a good college so that leads to like a good look on your resume and stuff, and then you get a good job, and then what? I have this mindset where like I like to shoot for the stars, because you know you'll land somewhere in between, and you know maybe I'll think about having like $100 million mansion, but statistically speaking, obviously that's not gonna happen. But I want to be able to land somewhere that's closer than where my family has been in the past before. A lot of that is mainly my mom, to be honest. It would be cool to pay off her house. But now that I'm like, it's what, March 2021, I graduated in June 2022. That's not even that long from now, to be honest. I've started to think a lot more about, you know, what's next after college and stuff. I feel like for as long as I can remember now, I've focused so much of my time into understanding everything in school so that I got perfect grades throughout college and stuff, and that's always been like the highest priority. But when I transferred to UCLA, I guess I kind of realized that my grades from my community college like were worth jack. They were worth basically nothing. And since I'm so close to graduating, I fully acknowledge that once you graduate, you know, grades really are in the past. Just like that same experience with my community college where, you know, they don't matter anymore. One day I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna think to myself, either college was everything that I wanted it to be, or I'm gonna have some sort of regret. And I've thought about it. I have thought, what do you want to remember out of college? Do you want to remember getting perfect grades, or do you want to remember building something of yourself, something that you can be proud of, something that would last until after college? It doesn't just end as soon as you get that degree. Maybe that's the hidden low-key entrepreneur in me, but I really want to build something that outlasts these walls basically of UCLA. And so I've started to think a lot more about how I'm going to do that. And because of that, my priorities have really shifted from getting perfect grades to working on my own projects and stuff. So because of that, now that I'm like looking back and I'm knocking on the door basically of real life, I really feel like, you know, people should work on a project, not necessarily like coming from a programming project or anything like that, but you know, start something that you can be proud of, whether it's like an organization or it's something like that, just something that's yours. I feel like it's so worth it to feel like you built something from the ground up. And yeah, I'm super proud of my grades and stuff, but it's not as important anymore. Don't get me wrong, before I transferred here, I had to get basically perfect grades to get to UCLA, but I don't think I'm gonna go to grad school. Unless you're gonna go to grad school, then grades are still pretty important. I don't think I'm gonna go to grad school. I want to just start building things. So grades really aren't that important anymore. I feel like, you know, people don't really focus on what you got in one specific class. People focus on like the bigger picture from here on out, and I want to have more than just my grades to be proud about. So that's why, whether it be spending a little less time, maybe not 100% thoroughly understanding some abstract CS project, I'll spend it working on my own projects and stuff, at the expense of maybe not getting literally an A+ on everything. I think that's worth it, in my opinion. So I guess if I could give a one piece of advice to, youngsters out there, not that I'm not young, if I could give one piece of advice, it would be to build something of your own, to build something that you're proud of. Is this so? Oh, that's so awkward.